Stephen A. dealing with some technical issues, so he joins us now on the phone. Stephen A., it's all you.
Thank you, Molly, and thank you and Max for holding it down for me. I really appreciate it. Great job as always. Magic Johnson, how are you, sir? I want to get to something. Let me get right to it. You saw all of these episodes 1 through 6. Primarily in episodes 3 and 4, we saw a lot about Isiah Thomas and what Michael Jordan had to say about Isiah Thomas. What were your thoughts when you saw that, knowing that both Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas are not only elite contemporaries of yours, but friends? What did you think when you saw all of that?
Well, I think Michael was just talking about when the Bulls and the Pistons were meeting for those Eastern Conference Finals playoff games. He was just talking about how he felt then. I think Michael really respects Isiah, just like Isiah respects Michael. And I just hope that we can get past all this, both men, because they've meant so much to the game of basketball. And yes, it is a shame that Isiah was not on the Dream Team, because talent-wise, he should have been on the Dream Team. But, you know, when you think about some of the problems that he had with a few guys on the Dream Team, whether the situation with Larry and what Rodman said about Larry, and that didn't go over well. You think about his problems with both Michael and Scottie Pippen, you know, just competitive series, but there was a definitely dislike and a hate. The Pistons hated the Bulls hated the Pistons, and so that was going to carry on off the court as well. And then, you know, and then he had a situation even with Karl Malone. But at the same time, we know that Isiah is a Hall of Famer and an all-time great, and he should have been on an all-star team based on his talent, but it just didn't happen.
Well, talk to me about your role and talk to our audience about your role, because in your book, authored by Jackie McMullen, where you and Larry Bird were a part of the book, you articulated that even you played the role in Isiah Thomas not being on the Olympic Dream Team. You talked about the players, guys on the team that didn't necessarily want him on, and that's why you probably felt the way that you did. But some people would look at your relationship with Isiah Thomas and they see such a revelation by you, and they're ultimately shocked that was something that you put in your book, that was something that you had to say, and that you didn't, in their eyes, you didn't support Isiah as strongly as one would have thought you would have. How do you explain that to the audience? What do you have to say to the audience about that?
Well, I think at that time, Isiah and I were not friends. We didn't support each other. And so when you have to have 10 guys on a team, let's first start with the talent, okay? Let's start with the talent. I've never seen a guy score, a point guard score 25 points in a quarter like Isiah did against my Lakers in the 1988 NBA Finals. So we know Isiah, the talent, is off the chart, right? John Stockton could never score 25 points in a quarter like that. You know, we understand that. But now, let's get to the facts. You have to be with each other for 2 months. And there was 4 or 5 guys he just had problems with. He was unfortunately not going to be a part of the Dream Team because of those problems. Because we all had to live with each other for 2 months, practice with each other, hang out with each other, all those things. That doesn't take away from Isiah's career or who he is as a man. But at the same time, Isiah has to own up to his own problems and say, hey, you know what? I had a hand in that, right? In that situation. Now, did I have a hand in him not being on the Dream Team? No. They didn't ask me who should be on the team. The only thing David Stern and Rod Thorne asked me to do was to call Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and tell them they should play on the Dream Team. Because Michael Jordan was on the fence on whether he wanted to play or not. Larry Bird was on the fence only because of his back. So I told Larry, this can be a part of our legacy. We both have to play on the Dream Team. And not just for ourselves, but at that time we both had kids. It could be for our fans, a way to go out. Michael Jordan, I said, listen, Larry Bird and I always wanted to play with you, Michael. So, listen, man, you got to play on the Dream Team because this has been my dream. This is one of my bucket list things was to play with you one day. And so I'm so happy Michael decided to do that. So, listen, Isiah and I repaired our relationship. It's too bad that in this documentary we have to now go back and relive things that happened, over 25 years ago. It's a shame that Isiah is made out to be this villain, this bad guy in the press. He's taken a lot of hits. I hope that this stops now. But I'm also glad that Michael Jordan allowed us to come into his world and into his life because we have to remember something about Michael. He was very private. So this took a lot for Michael to do, to open up like this. And I'm happy that he's done that because a lot of kids need to take, there's a lot of takeaways for kids in this documentary on how hard this man worked to become the greatest basketball player. Also, there's a lot for these kids can take away with, hey, Michael had problems just like the rest of us. And he dealt with those problems head on and still became a great basketball player. There's takeaways where, hey, he's not always going to be a great teammate, right? It's okay that you don't have to like every guy on your team as long as when you get on that field, you come together for the common goal, which is to win the championship or to win that game. So there's so many takeaways from this documentary. So I hope that we get past this Isiah Michael thing. I hope those two men come together and can be friends and go move forward.